The National Assembly in October voted to amend the Act abolishing the mandatory imposition of death penalty against people convicted of murder. However, the death penalty remains applicable for certain categories of murder. This was made possible after Minister of Legal Affairs Charles Ramson successfully piloted the Criminal Law Offences Amendment Bill. It is still mandatory.
That's Stacey Carmichael reporting there from NCN Television in Georgetown. An historic signing in Grenada today as the Caribbean embarks on a new initiative to hook up with the digital world. The Caribbean Knowledge and Learning Network, in partnership with the telecommunications company LIME, formally agreed today to connect the Caribbean to the wider world through a broadband fiber optic network. Well, this network is called ribNET, a network that, according to officials, it will transform education and knowledge delivery in the Caribbean. At the same time, the officials hope that the network will also deepen Caribbean integration through deeper collaboration between universities and colleges within the Caribbean community and also the Dominican Republic. The CMC's Camella Rhone was in St. George's for the signing and tells us more. Well, it appears we don't have that report to hand. This is from our correspondent, Camella Rhone in St. George's, Grenada, reporting on this agreement between the Caribbean Knowledge and Learning Network and the telecommunications company LIME to hook up with the wider world in a fiber optic broadband network. Here's that report now.
These signatures signal something big for the Caribbean. The birth of the region's first dedicated knowledge, learning and research network. After 7 years of intense work and planning, the Caribbean Knowledge and Learning Network, CKLN, in collaboration with telecommunications giant LIME, launched the initiative.
Today, after many years of work, of iterations, of refining, of changing what it was initially, simply an internet access process, to one that gives us more deeper meaning and deeper opportunities, which means that we now can provide bandwidth that is affordable for social development, for economic development, for capacity building, with that as the basis of our economic development issues.
The two sides penned a 5-year agreement in Grenada this morning, paving the way to connect tertiary institutions, hospitals, schools, government agencies, as well as CARICOM institutions through a broadband fiber optic network called ribNET.
The CKLN team had the audacity and the belief that a region made up of small island states, weak economies and a few million people, where economies of scale have eluded the best amongst us, could step up to the plate and build a regional network that could take its place side by side with the other global networks, thus plugging the digital hole that existed in the Caribbean.
CKLN was established in 2004 as an intergovernmental agency of CARICOM to improve the competitiveness of Caribbean countries using information and communication technologies to connect the region to the global pool of knowledge, thus developing human resources and deepening regional integration. Grenada's Prime Minister Tillman Thomas, who holds a lead responsibility for information communication technologies, says the network is critical to the region's development in today's ever-challenging global environment.
More importantly, it will bridge the digital divide in the region to achieve social cohesion of the people of the Caribbean.
The network will first be implemented in the first instance by connecting tertiary institutions around the region and by extension, the region to worldwide agencies.
Put quite simply, we have to give access to tertiary education to a much larger percentage of our Caribbean people to build skills and competencies if we are to compete globally.
And I think, really, opportunity is no longer about which schools have got the best libraries or the most books. It's increasingly becoming which schools and tertiary educational institutes have the best access to ICT.
CKLN is hoping to have the first education institutions sign on to the network by September or October of this year. They hope to bring the region up to speed with the rest of the world by plugging the digital gap which has been existing in the region for far too long. From St. George's, Grenada, Fernella Wedderburn, CMC News.